we got another GLIAC versus GMAC matchup in the state of Michigan. It truly seems like this is the week for that type of matchup between both of these conferences. Absolutely love that, but also makes it extremely difficult to talk about, extremely difficult to make these predictions. But we got Michigan Tech versus Hillsdale this week, and Michigan Tech coming into it has a ton of momentum because week one they end up getting a 37-17 win over the number 16 team in the country, an upset that truly was talked about at the time and continues to be talked about, and rightfully so. And that's a really great win, and they continue that momentum going into week two, and obviously being 2-0 to start the year, there's a ton of momentum going into this game against Hillsdale, and it truly starts with their quarterback in Alex Bueno. He's a new starting quarterback this year. Michigan Tech lost their starting quarterback last year, but he's truly a dual threat QB. He's a guy that can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arm. He's actually the leading rusher for Michigan Tech on the year, but he has also other guys that he can really throw the ball to. He has a guy in Ethan Champney and Nick Nora, his two leading pass catchers, but he also has a third guy who's a running back, Jake Roof, who not only can catch the ball pretty well out of the backfield, but he's the second leading rusher for this team. He's a guy that can do it all. He's a guy that's really going to be a key matchup for this Hillsdale defense, and this is a defense for Hillsdale that coming into this game, obviously week one they were able to get the win, but they've also done a pretty good job of, one, having a few interceptions. They had two in the first week. They also had a player like Ryan Nixa, who had one of them, who's going to be a guy to keep out for, but they also not only had two interceptions, they had 5 sacks in that game as well. So if you're really talking about needing to get pressure on the type of dual threat quarterback like Alex is, this is going to be a Hillsdale team that should be able to do that. We saw him do it week one. I think they're going to continue to do it week two, and it's going to be truly dependent on the quarterback play and the coaching for both of these teams, because not only does Michigan Tech have Alex Bueno on the team, and I'm completely probably botching his name, they also have head coach Dan Matlack. And if you want to talk about a guy that's truly building a program, I don't really know of one around the country that has done a better job than he has at Michigan Tech. I truly think Dan is a great coach. In year one, they were 5-5. Last year, they were 7-4. And now they're 2-0. And one of those wins were on an upset win. But he's getting better every single year in a conference like the GLIAC. I've talked enough about the GLIAC probably in the past, but if people listening that don't know, the GLIAC, in my opinion, is the best conference for D2 football in the entire country. You have the number 1 team in the country. You have the number 3 team in the country. You have teams like SVSU. You have also teams like this Michigan Tech team that might surprise people. Michigan Tech was projected to finish 5th out of 8 teams. In that projection, while it was preseason, definitely don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen there, they went and beat number 16. Like, that's just how good this conference is, and I really do think you have to give credit to Dan Matlack for just continuing to get better every single year, continuing to have athletes that make an impact in the game, and having a defense that has caused issues for other teams as well. They've had 3 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions on this year. They also have 4 sacks on the year, with Joe Marano having 2 of them, which is tied for the most tackles as well. Like, this is an offense and defense for Michigan Tech that is playing really well right now with a ton of confidence, going up against a Hillsdale team led by Colin McKernan, who has 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's also their leading rusher on Hillsdale as well, so he does have the capability of using his legs to extend the play, get a couple of yards. So it truly is going to be a quarterback matchup that I think is going to be really interesting, really fascinating, between maybe a little bit more of a dual threat in Alex than Colin, but Colin does have the ability to use his legs as well, which when you have a quarterback and going up against a quarterback that can use their legs, that only adds another element that you need to prepare for. And I think both of these teams are obviously going to be familiar with quarterbacks that can do that, so I definitely think that will help. But this is a Hillsdale team that in game number 1, they were more successful passing the ball than running the ball. So that's going to be another key thing to kind of keep an eye on for. Is Colin going to be able to continue that path? Is he going to be able to use his legs a little bit more to maybe take a little bit pressure off of the running backs in this game? Because obviously in the first game, a little bit more pass heavy, but Colin was able to help out in the run game, obviously, with his legs. And when you talk about being a little bit more pass heavy, you have to talk about their leading receiver, which is actually a tight end. I'm going to probably completely botch his last name, but you have Andrew Kozinski, one guy that was really good in the first game, but they also were able to pass the ball around a little bit. You have Connor Pratt and Tut Corico that were also two guys that really made an impact in that game. So it's going to really truly be about which offense, which defense can take a step up. It's about two teams like Hillsdale projected to finish top half of the GMAC. You have Michigan Tech projected to finish the bottom half of the GLIAC. It's truly going to be a matchup between two conferences that like going up against each other, and really going to be kind of comparing the conferences to see which teams have more depth, which teams have the better players. And it truly is when it comes to Michigan college football. It's a matchup that I love seeing, having two divisions, two conferences go up against each other. I think it makes it really fun. I think it allows for, obviously, players in Michigan to compete against each other consistently, but it also makes these decisions a lot harder for me because they're two Michigan schools, right? Like, you obviously want both to do well. You want both to perform well, but you have to obviously make a decision, and because of that, I'm going to pick Michigan Tech in this game to win. I am going with them. I think both teams are going to be really good. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think Michigan Tech continues their momentum going forward on this year. I think Hillsdale will be completely fine in the GMAC. Just looking on paper, I just think that this Michigan team, with a little bit more game experience this year, will definitely help them get the win. But yeah, what are your thoughts on my projections? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? Let me know. Hopefully you enjoy this. Definitely will do a recap after the game happens, talk about who wins, who loses. And yeah, after that, I'll do more previews next week and continue this. So hopefully you enjoyed this preview. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, share. Please let friends, family, athletes know about this. Would love to get that subscriber count up more. But yeah, going to be a fun game between Michigan Tech and Hillsdale. And if you're able to watch, definitely tune in.